Romans 12:7. Or service. Let's give ourselves to service. Or he who teaches, to his teaching. Paul keeps the list moving. Serving, teaching. 2 words, but they're sitting next to each other in this verse for a reason. Let's start with service. The word here is diakonia. And again, I am not the best at pronouncing Greek, so I apologize if that's off, so someone can correct me if you need to. But diakonia is the same root we get deacon from. But Paul is not talking about a church office here. He's talking about a posture, a way of being in the body that is oriented toward the need in front of you rather than the recognition behind you. Let's give ourselves to service. Give ourselves. That phrase does not sound like a side comment. It sounds like the whole thing. The person with the gift of service is not helping out when it's convenient. They're oriented. They show up before they're asked. They see what needs doing and they do it without waiting for someone to make it official. And most of the time, no one notices. That's not a flaw in the gift, that's the nature of it. Worship is more than singing, and service is one of the clearest examples of that. The person setting up chairs at 6 a.m, the person staying late to put things away, the person who drives someone to an appointment and never mentions it. They're worshiping. The altar is not on the stage. It's in the ordinary faithfulness of people who give themselves to whatever the body needs. Then Paul turns immediately to teaching. He who teaches, to his teaching. Same structure. If this is your gift, give yourself to it. Do not treat it casually. Don't walk into it underprepared and assume the room will carry the moment. Teaching is a slow gift. It forms people over time, verse by verse, the way this series is trying to. A teacher who is faithful doesn't always see the fruit right away. They plant something in a Tuesday morning and someone picks it up 3 years later at 2 a.m. when they need it. That's why Paul says give yourself to it, because the work is longer than the moment. And there is something worth naming here about how service and teaching end up in the same verse. They look very different from the outside. One is visible in a specific way. There's a room, there's the content, there are people listening. The other is mostly invisible, but Paul gives them the same instruction. Give yourself to it. Whatever it is, bring your whole self. The body does not need partial offerings from its members. It needs people who have decided that what God put in their hands is worth giving fully. Let me pray. Jesus, thank you for the people in your body who serve without being seen, and for the people who teach faithfully over years without knowing what it produces. Form in us a willingness to give ourselves fully to whatever you have placed in our hands. Protect us from half-hearted offerings and from the need to be noticed for what we do. Make us faithful. In your name, amen. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Formation to Transformation, a Worship Devotional podcast. It's been just an honor to hear from so many of you. I would just ask if you could leave me a rating and review wherever you're listening to this. And you can find everything else going on at formationtotransformation.com. You can get a link to my Substack and get set up on emails. And if you're going to share an episode, I so appreciate it. But would you head over to Instagram and tag me there? It's at Ryan Loche, RyanLoche. That's how you pronounce my name, by the way, Loche. So just for those of you interested. Anyway, thank you. I'm rambling. Thank you for being a part of this, and we'll see you in the next episode.